Good morning, Launch 2026ers. Larry Sanders here. We are in week three of Launch 2026, and I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about what breaking bread with clients looks like. But before we jump into that, let's get into the what of last week. Last week, you learned how to build and sort your databases, how to create a list of relationships that lets you know who your people are, what they do, and how you can serve them. Ultimately, those three pieces of information are going to help you segue right into what I've got for you today. Once you've got your database, once you've got your database formed, it's a healthy exercise each month to requalify and resort the people that you have in there. This will keep you relevant. It'll keep you communicating with them, and it'll keep you learning about what they've got going on in life. Because hey, at the end of the day, things change, and we want to know what those changes might be. So that's a little bit of the what. But why? Why a breaking bread or a social model? Um, I think of it as the antidote to any agents who say, "Hey, I don't want to bother people." So in this case, you're not bothering anybody. Instead, you're offering and serving, offering ways to help them, how to serve their families, and other people that they might know. So think of it as not bothering, but instead offering and serving. It creates easy face to face and voice to voice opportunities to uncover needs that people in your database might have. Again, so we're not harassing them or bothering them. We're just reaching out to them to find out what they've got going on and how we can help. At the end of the day, sales is a contact sport. And this just makes it easier. Yeah. So what you want to do, you want to make this part of your weekly schedule. Now, you don't want to time block just for the appointments. You actually want to time block the period of time necessary to make the contacts, make the calls, to set the appointments, in addition to the actual appointments themselves. The best advice I can give you there is to exaggerate the time that you put in your schedule. If you think something's going to take an hour, go ahead and block an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. The worst thing that can happen is you end up with a little bit of free time that you can figure out what to do with. Okay, so we talked a little bit about, hey, what are we doing here? Why would we do this? Let's move on to how. I think the how with this, a lot of it involves preparation. That's preparing for the meetings, before the meetings, and then having some follow up tips as well. So, regardless to what type of event we're doing, whether that's a one on one event, a small group event, or maybe even an entire database event, you want to have an idea of what you want to learn about people. If it's a big event, maybe you can learn one thing about six of the people that came to the event, because at the end of the day, if there's 50 people there, it's going to be very hard to learn one thing about 50 people. Um, but more of a core goal, I've got six people. I want to try to learn one thing about each of them if I can. In a one-to-one setting, that's a lot easier. Hey, you can come up with five or six things that you hope to learn about that person. And I think what this helps you do is it helps you bank information that might be used really creatively at a future date. So think of it as an investment that will hopefully pay a future dividend. But ultimately, once we prepare and we have an idea of what we want to learn about people, the next thing to do is to just be quiet and listen. And that can be very tough. If you're not comfortable with uncomfortable silences, you may try to fill that void with unnecessary talking and stuff like that. I think once we ask the questions, if we really, really care about the answers, at that point we want to just kind of, I hate to say it, you want to shut up and listen, right? Because that's going to be the information that helps you with next steps and follow up. I think it's always beneficial to have what I call inside information handy. These could be general market stats. If you are having a one to one with someone specifically, you could bring some stats about their neighborhood, their elementary school district, anything like that. Just things that would be relevant to them that show how much in the know you are and that you're happy to share that inside info that you have. Ultimately, on the follow up side, really all that is a thank you note and a thank you call when you wrap up. Think about this as occupying a little bit of extra mind space, but really just showing gratitude. It's an easy step to kind of finish the nail. In addition to that follow up phone call and writing a note, you definitely want to deliver on anything that you promised during the one on one. So if you promised a contractor connection or a certain piece of follow up, just make sure that you take care of that lickety split. Okay, so we've talked at this point. We've talked what, we've talked why. We've even talked a bit about how. But who are we reaching out to? Who are the people that are good to talk to on a weekly basis? Who do we need to talk to on a monthly basis? Who could we maybe even reach out to quarterly? So I think on a weekly basis, you're going to start with your database, and you're probably going to start with those A pluses and the A's. For me, this in the beginning was close friends and family members. Um, what that evolves into eventually becomes past clients, past referral sources, inactive clients. You know, those clients that were maybe hot to trot once upon a time and they've gotten a little bit quiet. Anybody that has a birthday or that has experienced a life milestone. Um, Needed business affiliates, right? Like if you need a landscaper, a gutter cleaner, your database can help you find all of these people if you just ask. And then the last note I wrote is just anybody that you're curious about. I know I've had people in my database where I've gotten an idea of where they work, and it's just really intriguing to find out what they do, how they serve people. Um, think about people in the medical field or people in law enforcement. These people see stuff that's a lot more exciting than we do, and they love to talk about it if we just give them the opportunity. So think about those in terms of who you would reach out to for these events. Now, now when you're going to do these, remember we're time blocking each week lead generation time to set these appointments, plan these events, and then we're planning time to actually be sitting down with people. So weekly, you want to be doing pop bys to people's homes or to their places of business. You want to be hosting coffees, be a coffee with one person, maybe a coffee with a small group. Same thing for breakfasts, lunches, or maybe even the happy hour after work. These are all easy things that you can do on a weekly basis, either with very small groups of people or with just one-on-one people that are in your database. Now, on a monthly basis, you have an opportunity to reach larger groups of people with a little bit more consistency. So the notes that I wrote about that, small group events, any type of sports or kind of TV show watch party is a really good idea. Think Super Bowl watch party, March Madness watch party, but there's a lot of very popular TV series that you could have a weekly watch party. Other good ideas are a book club. Book clubs are very popular, maybe a Bible study or something like that. Now, you're going to get bigger groups of people together with more frequency when you do these types of events. It's also a chance to have people come to you in lieu of you maybe having to go to six different people. You could have those six people coming directly to you. Something else good to do on a monthly basis, if you realize that you have a couple of clients in your database that work for the same company, that's a very easy breakfast drop off, lunch drop off at their office. Um, it's my opinion that the fear of missing out kicks in at that point. And when people see you as a source in another place of business, they're just curious about who you are. And at that point, your clients have got a real good opportunity to be an advocate for you, just being the realtor, doing something different to serve them. Now, we have some weekly intention, one-on-one, maybe small lunches, happy hours, that type of stuff. Then we branched out further into the small group setting with maybe a watch party, a book club, or a small group event. Now, on a quarterly basis, I think that's a good time to do something on a much larger scale. That's something maybe you could do with your entire database. You invite everybody in there, regardless of the ranking. Um, when it comes to these events, I think about kind of holiday centric events, breakfast with Santa, pictures with the Easter Bunny, um, a summertime cookout. We in Richmond now have a new baseball stadium under construction, and so that's probably going to be a really popular event this year. But these are events that probably take more planning and more of an investment from you. But they are a chance to reach your entire database at one time. And that can be very powerful to do once or twice a year. Now, we talked about bigger events equals a bigger budget. So I wanted to give you some tips there because at the end of the day, you don't want to spend a fortune to try to make a fortune in real estate because you won't end up with much after that. So, step by step here, I think the idea is to, hey, set your overall budget. What do you want your investment to be? So, step one, set your budget. There's no wrong answer here. Step two is to pick the venue. A lot of times, the budget can dictate what the venue budget might end up being, and that can help you from there. So, set the budget, pick the venue, pick the theme. Themes are just fun. They make it easier for folks to come out. They give people a better idea of what they're getting into. Above all, they're just a little bit more fun. Once you set the theme, go ahead and set your timeline. The timeline is the day you start prospecting for your event to the day that you send notes to your clients and make follow-up phone calls after your event. Once you set the timeline, you want to secure sponsors. Okay, so we said bigger events, bigger budget. Sponsors can help you offset some of the cost. You need to promote their businesses. And of course, you do that during your promo timeline. And for that, they give you some financial interest in the event itself. Now, to do this, I advise you to track the referrals that you give throughout the year. If you do that, you'll feel a lot better about asking for their support, knowing that you supported them. Think common people to each deal that you do: a home inspector, title settlement company, mortgage lender, somebody in the pest control industry, even a landscaper. These people that we frequently support throughout the year, great opportunity to loop them into your business while getting a little bit of financial help for your bigger event. Okay, so in terms of the promo timeline, the last thing I'm going to touch on here is just how to get a large number of contacts in one promo timeline. So you've set that budget, you picked your venue, you picked the theme, and now you're setting your timeline. The first thing you want to do a month or more before your actual event, you want to send out a save the date. This can be done through a third party site, Google survey, or even just a general email. The next thing you're going to do within a few days of sending out the save the date, you're going to make your first round of phone calls. Within a few days of making those phone calls, you're going to send a follow-up text to confirm their RSVP. Within a few days of that text message, you're actually going to film a video text so that they can see you and get a little bit more from you in that regard. Again, just kind of confirming what their RSVP was, whether they're able to come or whether they're not able to make it. Really good chance to make a contact no matter what. Once you send that video text, we're getting pretty close to the day of the event at that point. We're going to make that final RSVP call just to make sure nothing came up at the last minute. That helps us finalize numbers with any vendors we might be working with. And then the day of the event, you just have fun. Learn a little bit more about them if you can, right? But at the end of the day, you've already made 5 contacts with this client. Once the event is finished, typically within a day or two, you're going to make a follow-up phone call to say thank you for coming, and then you're going to seal the deal every time with a handwritten note. Handwritten notes just make people feel good. I get bills in my mailbox pretty much daily. I very rarely get a handwritten note. And you might be different than me, but I can tell you that every note anybody ever wrote me made me feel a lot better than it did before I read the note. So 6+ contacts per event. Easy to do if you follow that promo timeline. And above all, I think if you're a social person, if you believe in hospitality, you can do what I did, which is party your way to success with people who love you and with people who you love. In time, they're going to help you meet even more people that fit that same caliber, and maybe your events get bigger and bigger. But no matter if it's a one-on-one, a few days a week, a small group event, a couple of times a month, or some big events, maybe once or twice a year, there's a social aspect to your business that could feed your family for years to come if you just work the system. In terms of a bonus, my advice to you is don't speculate. Don't find a reason to not do this stuff. Instead, investigate. Just see what's possible. Set that coffee date. Plan a small event at your home. Plan a watch party. Be courageous. Just take a stab at it. Because at the end of the day, some beats none every time. So send at least three messages to folks to get at least three breaking bread sessions scheduled in the next week before we have Kevin coming with our next segment to teach you about buyers. I hope this is helpful. I hope it helps you all close more business. Let's smash it out there.